Hi and welcome to RTG, Retro Tech Guardian. And you're here with Ted and I. Here's Ted. Doesn't change his clothes, as you can see. Ted and I today, well, I did a video a while ago looking at a way of how you can transmit a signal to an analog TV. So we have an analog TV. This is the Triton CTV 8000. We have a Xbox 360 even. And we have various things. Now, when I did that video, I used what was for me the easiest way to do it, which was an amplified aerial. And I reversed the inputs and the outputs to actually boost the signal through the aerial instead of collecting the aerial and then boosting the signal. So if you want to watch that video, you should find it. I will put a link, I think, below just in case. Then after a while, I realised I needed a lot more equipment than just that. Certain projects and that I've got coming up, I needed to buy certain things. So I thought, right, okay. So one of the things I looked for was one of these. It's an RF modulator. This is a Mercury RF modulator. Mercury RF modulator, and as you can see, there's two SCART sockets. One says VCR SCART in, one says VCR SCART out. Now I've tested the VCR SCART in with one of these little adapters with the in-out switch on the end, and I couldn't get a signal to show on the TV. It recognised that this was on but wasn't showing the signal. So it works though. Basically, this RF modulator, it takes a composite video signal, so your yellow, red and white, plug in here, and then basically it throws it out via the aerial, so you're just connecting your TV up to that. Whatever you're showing on there will then display on your TV on whatever channel you can set it. Now the reason why I went for this one is you can set the channel. So my VCR works on channel 36. You can also get a switch on it. I think mine has 24 or 36. So with this though, you can set it to whatever channel you want. Now, obviously there is no analog broadcast anymore, but you do get some interference when you're tuning this. So obviously try and change this to a particular channel that doesn't have interference, and it should work better. Now the other thing we have is something I picked up in the car boot sale, was an aerial booster. Now this aerial booster is a lab gear one, and it's model MSE123. I don't know if you can read that or not. Try and get it to... And this has an input and then two outputs. So it takes the input from your RF, amplifies the signal, and then sends it back out. Now the idea of that is, now I'm going to be using this simple aerial today, which is just one of these magnetic mount aerials. I've not actually tried the aerial side of it yet. I have tried the modulator, but I've not tried sending it through this, so we'll find out today together whether or not that works. Now at the moment, oh sorry Ted, I just threw the aerial on his head nearly, like that. So let's get that up there. I'll do what, that can stay here out the way for now. So we have an aerial lead currently plugged into the back of the TV. So whatever signal we're going to put into this will go straight to the TV. So we'll start off, we'll put that end of the lead from the back of the TV socket into aerial. Then we'll get our yellow, red and white phono composites into the RF modulator. Then we'll get the power supply, which is 12 volt DC. Actually, I do want that aerial out of the way a minute. Let's put that up there. Got a magnetic base, so we don't want it sitting on the telly, do we? So we'll plug this in. It's a bit messy with the old wires, but there you go. So when we plug it in, we turn it on, and I don't know if you can see that, it's come up with 48, and again you can see that's going up and down. You can change the channels with this. So You can see you can go all the way down. Let's see, where does it go down to? It takes ages. Let's go down. So it should be 21. Yep, 21 to 69. So, and as you look on the telly, it starts at 21, ends on 69. So we'll set this to say 45. Now we need to turn the phono signal on, which is the Xbox I'm using. I have connected a controller to it so we can see it working. Now an Xbox takes a little while to boot up, so we'll make sure there's being a picture displayed. We'll turn this on and we'll wait for the static. There we go. And then we'll start trying to tune it to channel 45. Where's that? Oh, there we go. There we go. Channel 45. Now I've turned the sound up a little bit, but obviously copyright. We'll have to turn this down. I'll turn the brightness down so it shows a bit better on the camera. And you'll hear there's no hiss from the TV. That's the fan. No, the disc wearing up. We'll have a listen for the audio and then we'll turn it down. As you can see, that's working. So there we have a TV setup using an RF modulator. So basically, when you look at some of the older consoles, like the NES, and I'm not sure if the SNES had RF, but I remember you could get RF on the original PlayStation, and you could get RF on the Dreamcast, as well as composite. So if you didn't have the RF modulator, this basically is doing exactly what that does. The difference here is that you can change the frequency on this one, where usually your game one is limited to channel 36, which is annoying because that's what your video is too. So anyway, you can obviously, when you change the frequency, you can see that disappearing. So we can change it to 48, tune it again, and let's see if we get it again in colour. There we go. So as you can see, that as you change the frequency from that, changes it here where you need to scan to. So if you look at the upper end, I think it's at the upper end usually, I do seem to get, there you go, a little bit of interference every now and then. See that? So I tried to keep it on a frequency where I know there was no interference when I was just tuning in general. So that's one way of being able to transmit an image to your TV. So this is very good. I mean, this is one of the projects I'm going to use, so this will be taken apart and all these connectors will come off, and I'll be soldering direct to the board to them to reduce some of the size of the board itself. But I will still be obviously keeping it, but it will be slightly modified. You can buy these still. I bought this quite recently. I bought it purposely for the project that I'm doing. They're not the cheapest of things. I think this one cost me about 28 quid all in. But absolutely worth it if you don't have a way of sending signals. Now, obviously I've got the Xbox connected to this. It doesn't mean it has to be an Xbox. It can be anything. It can be an old video camera. It can be an old camera. It can be video itself, video recorder, video player, an old DVD player. I don't think the old Blu-rays came with a composite out. There would obviously be HDMI. But anything that's got a composite signal can be transmitted or sent to this, and then obviously it's sent then back out via the RF. Now, the one thing I said I hadn't tried earlier, which was connecting this to this booster and then to this aerial to see if that transmits. Now in theory it should, but I didn't actually test that earlier, so we'll turn that off a second. We'll lift that up. We'll pull the aerial lead out of the back of the TV. And then I need to plug the little plug in that plugs in the telescopic aerial, which obviously you unplug to plug a lead directly into that socket. He says, let's have a look. Where's it gone? There it is. So it's just a little lead and it goes back inside the actual machine, and that links us to our telescopic aerial here. So that goes back over there. So now the aerial lead from this, now we're still getting the signal into this, but what I want to do is I want to plug it into this. And so that's now plugged into the RF modulator, and then I'm going to be going into the input of the amplifier. Now I've got a male-to-male connector there, but luckily this aerial's got a male connector, so I don't need that. Oh, sorry Ted, just not Ted flying. I knew this aerial will get him. Now the idea is I plug this into there. We stand that aerial up somewhere here. The wire's pulling it over now, great. So, a bit messy, but obviously you'd have this tidied up so you wouldn't be as messy. It does look a mess. That one. Okay, so we'll turn this back on. We're still on channel 48. Now this is tuned to channel 48. So when we turn the telly on, I'm hoping, now as you can see, it's not a very good signal. Now this lead isn't the best. So what happens if I knew this would happen. So it's trying to get a signal. It is transmitting, but as you can see, it's not as powerful as what the other one was that I was using. Nowhere near. So we'll try plugging the aerial into that one. Now this could be a limitation of this little aerial. I don't actually know if the little aerial works, but we did get a picture then. If I leave it around the back there, I think I know why. Okay. No, we're not getting a signal. I'll tell you what we'll do is I'm going to get one of my little portable Sony black and white tellies, because the aerial's much better on that. Basically on the back of this, it's been apart that much, as you can see. If I pull this forward, that there comes up and down. Now that shouldn't move. Now it's been knocked at some point, and that's broken the plastic inside that holds that aerial in place, and what's happened is the wires come off the back of that aerial. So I'm just wondering if it's just that from stopping it picking up a signal. So what we'll do is, if you just bear with me for 1 sec, I shall be back. Hi, right, okay, we're back. So I've got some AA batteries. This one takes 4, and we've got our little Sony Watchman. If you're interested in this, I've done a video of this already showing this working, and I took it apart so you could see the inside. Did I take this one apart? Actually, I don't think I did, because I like it that much. I don't want to ruin it. So now let's see if this gets a signal. Now let's see if I can remember how it turns on. Power TV. There we go. So tune in. Oh, would help if you could see what was going on. So 48 we're looking for. Hold on. What was that there then? right, and as you can see, if I'm very close to the aerial, it is working. Now that vertical hold doesn't seem to be right. There you go. So if I do, I'm trying to show you this working. I am basically touching that aerial though with this, but at least we are getting a picture. And that's not going to show very well on here, is it? Typical. Okay. No, it's not going to show very well. But if I press that button, you should see the screen change. There we go. I can't show you that at all, can I? Let's see if that helps. No, it's just too bright. I can't change that, I'm afraid. I can't even angle it so you can get to see it. That's a shame. But, right, okay, so basically that's how you do it. Now, I think the problem on this is that aerial's not great. And obviously I bought this second hand at a car boot sale and I've not tested the booster, so it might be that the booster's not working. The other thing I could try, very low power obviously, is take the booster out of the line and plug that directly into the aerial socket, which means that that little aerial socket is now directly in that. And we'll try this again. Now this time, can you believe it, that actually works better. So the problem was the second-hand booster I bought a duff. Luckily I only paid a couple of quid for it, or a quid, I think it was £2. But I can't show you that screen. I wonder if this will pick it up now. So I'll turn that one off. Turn this back on. Oh, there you go, look, it's starting to show the image, and I'm nowhere near the back of the aerial. Well, it's a little better maybe. But this booster's certainly not doing anything, is it? Try that one more time. Oh well, it's actually tuning a little bit now. In black and white, it's not getting colour. So the only aerial it's actually got. Ah, there you go. It seems to work better there for some reason. It is still jumping around. Obviously it's nowhere near as clear if that was just plugged straight into the back of the unit itself. But that's the other way of doing it. Now obviously the booster and the aerial were probably a limitation to this. You can get much better aerials obviously, and a booster that works, which would be nice. That one. These things happen, I suppose. Also, is that a magnetic base? I can't remember. Yes, it is. So, if I unplug the cable again for the aerial. Nope, I can't get at that from here. Well, there you go, that seems to be got a bit of white noise, and you can hear the hiss now on the TV. There we go, there's a little bit of music coming through. That's the auto frequency on and off. So that should hold it or lock it in that position. So it is tuning, obviously it's not very good. So that is down to the booster being damaged. So there you go. As I say in my videos, I test everything with you. I tend not to test things separately. The main reason why I did this, because I paid a lot of money for it, and well, a lot of money for me. And I wanted to make sure that worked, because obviously I bought it on eBay and I only have a certain amount of time to send it back. So I did test that. So yeah, well, there you go. So the signal booster is, the aerial booster is obviously not working very well, because I think even with that cheap aerial, it showed that it was actually displaying the signal coming straight from the actual RF modulator. So I believe if the booster was working, then obviously that should have boosted the signal and made it a lot clearer. Didn't even make it clear on the little Sony Watch one, and that thing can pick up anything. So yeah, it must be this that's not working. So there you go, one of those things. It looks like I'm going to buy another one and do a second part to this video and try it with one that actually works. And maybe I'll test it before I come on camera. Anyway, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Please think about subscribing, because it does help me out. It does motivate me to do more videos. I might do a video of this when I take it apart and start taking all these connections off, and we'll have a little look to see how this works inside and what it's got inside. And obviously that will be the next part of, that's going into that Hitachi all-in-one previous video. I just added Bluetooth. So as soon as I get that 12 volt regulator, because this is 12 volt 2, then obviously I'll get back on that video. We'll test out the Bluetooth again. We'll be stripping this down, adding this, and then we'll be adding 2 further components that use this composite signal that will be transmitted to the TV itself. So there'll be no problem with the aerial or a booster, because it will go directly from the aerial socket here. I'll cut some coax, solder it directly to the board, and then solder it directly to the back of the aerial socket on the actual machine. Not this one, like I say, it's the Hitachi one. It's got the cassette radio and TV built in. Yeah, so I'll go through that, but I will take that apart as a separate video. I'm also going to take this apart and see if there's any reason why it's not working. See if we can have a quick look at it. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.